Hello, friends. About 15 months ago or so, I was sitting around with my wife around our fire pit at our house, and I was discussing with her how I really wanted to communicate with the Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District staff in more of an informal way, kind of in a way that, you might have around a fire pit talking to friends, and not so much as a superintendent. And so she came up with the idea that I come to you from our family fire pit and have a casual conversation. Over the last 15 months or so, we have been on an incredible journey. With the rest of the world, we were thrust into a pandemic that changed every aspect of our lives, from our family, our work, our social lives. Every single part of our lives were changed during this last 15-month period. And through that together, as a family at Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District, we have come together, we have persevered, and we have made it through that journey. For those of you that might not know my educational journey, it started at Orange Glen High School. I started there as a biology teacher, an assistant football coach, and an assistant wrestling coach. And in 1994, I was named the head wrestling coach. And at that time, I started using the John Wooden Pyramid of Success as a leadership platform. And in every leadership position I've had since then, I have used the John Wooden Pyramid of Success in some manner. Now, as a high school principal, we developed a 9-time program. And the curriculum for that 9-time program was based on the John Wooden Pyramid of Success. And what we did is every 2 weeks we went through each of the blocks of the pyramid. And many of you are aware of the Pyramid of Success because we've taught it at the elementary level, the junior high level, and the high school. And as the students go through this, we really help to build the characteristics that will make them successful, not just in school, but in life afterwards, as husbands, mothers, as business people, etc. And so what I try to do every year as superintendent is go back to the high school, and the last presentation on the competitive greatness, the top of the Pyramid of Success, I try to present that to the freshman classes in PE. Now, usually what I do is I'll talk about 1 or 2 of our staff members that I believe have gone through all the blocks of industriousness, enthusiasm, skill, poise, friendship, loyalty, all the different blocks that make up the pyramid and culminate in the competitive greatness. And I've always used different staff members, and I even use one of our alumni, Daniel Brunskill, who is really a great example of the Pyramid of Success that has gone through so much adversity and has ended up in the NFL playing for the 49ers. So this time, as I was presenting to our freshmen, it came to my mind that really our whole staff has performed at the competitive greatness, the top of that Pyramid of Success. And so as I was talking to the freshmen, I used all of you as examples of how people perform at such high levels. And I can think back to many different groups. I think back first to our bus drivers. Our bus drivers, as this pandemic started, we weren't busing any students. So they were willing to come in and put industriousness and enthusiasm into their work, and they did a plethora of jobs for us, from grounds to secretarial to computer technology work. It was just incredible. And then when they got back to driving their buses, which I believe we already had a bus fleet that was at competitive greatness. It was one of the best bus systems in San Diego County for schools. But when they started back, they had to be flexible. They had to learn new skills. All of a sudden now they got to stop at each bus stop, get out, take the temperature of the child, give them the health screen, and then put them in seats spaced so far apart and keep track of how far apart and who was in which seat. Now, why do I believe they were at competitive greatness? About a week ago, the health department came out, and the head doctor, Dr. Malone, for the San Diego County Health Department, he asked about one of the contact tracings that happened on one of our school buses. And Jill, our nurse, quickly went through exactly how the contact tracing was done, what the bus drivers knew, what seats the students were in. He said it was one of the best setups that he had seen in any school district. Now I look at our CNS department. Our CNS, our Child Nutrition Service, went from the beginning or pre-pandemic to feeding all of our students either free and reduced lunch or they bought lunch. And I can't remember how many lunches we served altogether. But once we hit the pandemic, they got a whole new charge. And that was to feed every child in Valley Center, not just our students and not just lunch, but 2 meals a day. And the first couple of weeks, as we start to adjust this and they build new skills around how do we prepare this food, how do we package it, within about 4 weeks of this, we were literally serving thousands of meals to hundreds of students and feeding Valley Center community. We are feeding more lunches than most large districts because of the hard work, the dedication, the loyalty, all those blocks that we see in our C&S department. And I can't forget about our M&O department, because without that group, all the setups, all the making sure that we are clean, that we know how to take care of new cleaning machines, how to make sure that we keep the virus down, all those things that everybody had to learn, they were flexible. They adjusted to it, they faced the adversity of it, but they put in the hard work and the loyalty because they wanted to serve the students of Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District. I also look at our teacher aides, and I look at our other classified staff. In every job description, you can see where people stepped up for one purpose, and that was to serve the students of Valley Center. And that brings me to our administrative teams. Our administrative teams had to take on all new challenges. How do we get every student on school campus with a temperature check, a health check, and then make sure they go directly to their classroom because we didn't want mingling. There are all these different rules, and they adjusted by the hour at times. But yet our site administrators and our administrators in general, they adjusted. They were flexible. They followed the skill, the poise, the idea that, hey, we can do this. And then that comes to our teaching staff, which I believe is second to none in this county. Our teachers, I believe, were at a competitive greatness before the pandemic. But the pandemic brought all kinds of new challenges, from virtual learning to how do we connect with kids that aren't connecting with us, to how do we, ensure that students have an equal opportunity to learn. And our teaching staff put in those extra hours, the industriousness. They were enthusiastic about it. They were loyal to the students they served. They used the skills they already had and adapted new skills so that they had the poise and confidence to really deliver curriculum, both academic and socially emotional, to our students in the Valley Center-Pauma Unified District. And because of that and that hard work, they performed at the competitive greatness. It is this can-do spirit and your unique ability to overcome the obstacles that we have faced during this pandemic that has led to our student success this year. When I think of you, I think of champions. Champions that need to be proud of the accomplishments they've made this past 15 months. Champions that need to be celebrated for those accomplishments. And as I think of the end of the school year, what I really think of as champions, you need to take a victory lap, and that's summer. I am looking so forward to having our staff get a summer vacation, to be able to get out there, relax, be with your family, travel, do the things that you haven't been able to do for the last 15 months, rejuvenate, because you have fought a huge battle. And I think our community and our students are better off for the way that you performed. Now, as I look to next school year, I have hope for the next school year. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel of this pandemic. When I look at our numbers today, for the first time ever, we are in the yellow tier. Our numbers are lower than they were back in March. And I'm hoping that when we get to August, that light at the end of the tunnel will be so bright that we'll need to wear sunglasses. For when we get together at our welcome back in August, it is going to be a great time where we'll have fellowship and be able to hang out together. You'll be able to shake hands and be together as a staff like we haven't been able to do in the last 15 months. Please, take time this summer, enjoy yourselves, and when you come back, we're going to have a great 2021-22 school year.